Hello Internet, TheStabbyBrit here. If, like me, you're a fan of Warhammer 40,000, you're probably watching the Kill Team announcements with great interest. It looks extremely promising, and indeed, I was going to make a video listing some of my predictions about what would be in Kill Team, how its mechanics would work, and so on. But then, it all got leaked. I say leaked, it all got put out there by Warhammer community, and I was right on quite a few things. I predicted the I go, you go mechanics. I predicted it would be lifting some rules from Necromunda, the cover system, for example. It looks like a lot of what I expected was there, and there's a couple of little things in there which I didn't necessarily expect. Like Rogue Trader, for example, turns out to be an expansion for Kill Team. But of course, nobody on the internet wants positivity. Saying how much you like something just doesn't generate clickbait. So here's something much more palatable to the internet community. How Kill Team is going to destroy Warhammer 40,000. Now, I want to point out, this is a little bit of a stretch. However, there is a core of truth to this. Games Workshop has no sacred cows. We need only look at Warhammer, the fantasy version, for confirmation on this. After all, Warhammer was hugely successful. It was the launch game, for all intents and purposes, of Games Workshop. It spawned various successful spin-off games, not least of which was Warhammer 40,000 itself. In fact, it was so marketable, they allowed 3 total war games to be made based in the Warhammer universe, and before the first one had even hit shelves, they shit-canned the entire setting. Gone. Just wiped out. I mean, that seems completely fucking stupid to me, but apparently Games Workshop thought that was a good idea. So, if they are willing to burn down Warhammer Fantasy, right when you would expect Warhammer Fantasy to draw a load of positive press and potentially bring some new customers in, you can bet they will burn Warhammer 40,000 to the ground as well. And I think Kill Team will be the game that ultimately kills it off. So why do I think this? Well, in no small part, it's because Games Workshop is seeing huge success with a different approach to the market. Warhammer 40,000 and, to some extent, Age of Sigmar are running on an old-style monetization system. It was the idea that you would build up large armies, big collections of models, and you would essentially try and create a big, spectacular battle which would play out all day, and it would look amazing. Absolutely, 2 huge, well-painted armies. Fantastic. And a lot of their choices over the years have pushed toward that. The creation of troop ranges in plastic, for example. Multi-pose plastic kits. That was done, I think, to help relieve the monotony. If you've got 120 Imperial Guard, for example, and it's a metal army, there's probably 3 poses for your lasgunners. Seeing 40 lasgunners in the firing from the hip position, and 40 firing from the shoulder, and 40 stood at ease. It looks okay, but if you've got a multi-part plastic kit, and you have 120 men, and they're all in a different pose, I mean, some of them are going to be similar. You've got 40 men still firing from the hip, but one guy's kind of going full-on Rambo. There's another one reloading. There's another one looking to his squad mates. You can do these little things, and it looks fantastic. It looks so much better. And for a big, spectacular game, that's perfect. But there's a problem. And the first of which is it takes time to build all these models, and it takes even longer to paint. I mean, 2 years ago now, I think, I got my new Space Marine army, and I still haven't painted it all. And it's expensive to make these things. These huge armies cost a lot of money. Everyone who plays 40k or Fantasy or any Games Workshop game knows there's a cost involved. Actually, I shouldn't say any Games Workshop game, because Games Workshop's having a lot of success with games that don't cost the earth to play. Like Shadespire. I've already covered this, but essentially, Shadespire's buy-in is about 40 quid, and you get everything you need to play. And then, if you're willing to drop about 15 quid more, you can have another warband. And through this method, without ever intending to, I've spent around 100 and 120 quid on Shadespire. I own all the warbands. I own the core set. Shadespire is the first time I've ever actually fully painted an army. And the only reason that's the case is because the army consists of 4 models. But I'm so happy I've actually managed to achieve it. And I really, really love the game. And I don't think it's an accident that Games Workshop is going down this route now. I mean, look at Blood Bowl. The resurgence of Blood Bowl threw Games Workshop for a loop. Not just because they didn't think specialist games were popular. I think the accounts department sat up and took notice as well. Because, once again, you've got the core game. It's higher buy-in. I don't remember exactly how much Blood Bowl costs. I think it's around probably 80-90 quid for the core box. And again, everything you need to play, the rules, all the dice, and essentially terrain, the board, and 2 teams. And then they release plastic teams. And they have all the rules in them. You can buy the plastic team. It's self-contained. As long as you've got everything else you need to play, you're good. And then they bring out expansions, the almanacs, Blood Bowl magazine. They bring out these additional rules, additional characters. They bring out things you can just bolt onto the experience. And I know you're probably thinking, well, 40k is the same. But it's not. If you pick up Blood Bowl and you decide you want a new team, okay, let's say you've been playing humans or you've been playing orcs, orcs are a bashy team, you want to play something completely different. You want to play elves, okay? How do you start an elf team? Well, you go and buy the elf team, and it's, what, 30 quid, call it? 30 quid, there you go, there's your elf team. Maybe a bit more, maybe you want elf-themed dice, maybe you want the elf-themed cards, maybe you want to buy an elf special character from Forge World, whatever. 30, 40 quid, bang. There it is. You build it, you paint it. You don't have to paint it, of course, because they're coloured plastics now. You get them ready for the tabletop. They're pushed together plastic models, snap fit for the most part. You're good to go. You can tailor your experience to your level of investment and your level of skill. But that's not how 40k works. I just went on Games Workshop's website and had a look at the Start Collecting box for Space Marines, you know, one of the most iconic factions. Because that's £50, which is about the buy-in level we've been talking about. And in that, you get a Terminator Captain, a 10-man tack, and a Venerable Dreadnought. Well, that's not even an army, frankly. I did the math, and that's about 24 power points, or about 500 points. In fact, if you build it exactly as shown on the box, it's 478. Assuming that's a combi grab the Sergeant has, and assuming it's a power sword the Captain has, not a relic blade. But again, it's about 500 points. That's not an army. Pretty much every game of 40k I see is at minimum 1500, and it has been for a long time. 2000 points seems more common. Now, whether this is just something that will die off because it's a relic of older editions, and as new blood comes in, the points cost will go down, maybe. But I still don't consider that to be an army, because if you look at the detachments, it's all pushed towards at least 4 units for a start. You'd want at least 2 HQs and 3 troop choices to maximize your power points, or you'll want 1 HQ and then either 3 elite, 3 heavy support, 3 fast attack. I know you don't need that, but power points matter. There's no way around this. So I would say at minimum you would need 2 of these, and that's not a very interesting army, is it? I mean, you'd have what, 2 Terminator Captains, 2 Venerable Dreadnoughts, and then just to maximize your power points, we'll say 2 10-man attacks will split into a 10-man attack and 2 5-man attacks. Why not? There you go. That's your 1,000-point army, is it? It's pretty boring. We could do better, of course. I mean, if you watch Horus Heresy themed channels, as I do, you will hear them waxing about Betrayal at Calth. The best possible purchase for anyone who wants to play Horus Heresy. Well, if you want to play 40k, it's true as well. For £95, you get 30 tactical marines, 5 cataphracti terminators, a cataphracti captain, a chaplain, and a contemptor dreadnought. 60 power points, right there, bang on. Which is a little bit over 1,000 points, based on our estimation. It's probably about 1,100-1,200 points. I'm not going to go through and work it out. War gear will matter. And that's a better army, by far, isn't it? But it's still not quite where we need it, and it's still a little bit dull. So, let's throw some stuff on top of there. Let's say, we'll go for the standard. We'll go for the obvious. We'll get a 10-man assault squad. That's an extra 50 quid on top. That's a nice source of power points. Now we've got a combat unit. Excellent. And we'll throw in a 5-man devastator squad as well, because that way we've got everything. We've got our troops, we've got our elites, we've got our fast attack, we've got our heavy support, we've got our HQ choices, and best of all, we can juggle around. So maybe we want 2 10-man tacks, a 5-man tack, and we can have a 10-man devastator squad squatting on an objective somewhere with big guns. Or we could even be really clever, because, you know, we're savvy and we notice the kits go together. We can have 5 of those tactical marines built as another devastator squad. So we've actually got 2 devastator squads. Brilliant. I'm pretty confident we have now crossed the 1,500 point threshold. Especially if we have the 2 devastator squads. Thing is, how much does that cost us? I mean, 95 for Calth, 50 quid, so we're at 145. We're looking at about £175 for our 1,500 point army. Gee, that's expensive, because for less than that, I own everything in Shadespire. Everything. I own every faction in Shadespire for less than that. And that's just getting us kind of the bare bones of an army. I mean, if you want to be competitive, you're going to get laughed off the fucking table by the guy who just turns up with a knight army. Or, you know, the guy who actually has a tournament list. And I can already hear the people saying, "Oh, knights aren't powerful." Well, no, let's be honest. If you are new to this hobby and you're basically just buying things and building them the way they're built on the box, yeah, I'm pretty confident that a knight army will jump up and down on this. So, we're not looking at something that's ultra competitive. We're looking at something that is really only designed to be used against somebody who is approaching the hobby in the same way, who's basically buying stuff, building it as the box tells them to build it, and playing together. And that's fine. That's a great way of playing 40k. I wish a lot more people played that way. But for 175 quid... I wouldn't do it now. I'm going to be honest. If I hadn't gotten into 40k way back in 3rd edition, when there really wasn't an alternative way to play this kind of game, I'd take one look at that price tag and say, fuck right off, mate. No. Absolutely not. So, this is the crux of it. This is, to me, why Kill Team is going to destroy 40k. Because I guarantee you, Kill Team is going to follow the model of every other game. And Games Workshop have said they've got people who worked on Shadespire on this. And holy shit, do these guys know how to print money. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to have these box sets. You're going to have the ready-made Kill Team. And again, it's all going to be pushed together. The models aren't going to have the same variety of poses, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can make 5 or 6 poses, because you're probably only going to have one of each model anyway. So who cares if they're not multi-pose? There you go. Production costs have just gone down. You're going to flog a Kill Team, a complete faction, for about 30 quid. I think the actual box sets are pushing closer to 40, but they come with terrain. No idea if the terrain actually has rules or whether it's just nice terrain to put on the board. And even if they don't have rules, I think that, again, is drawing from Shadespire. It's drawing from the idea that there's something in every box for everyone. You know, you might not want to play Space Wolves, you might want to play Orcs, but the Space Wolves have got a unique piece of terrain. And that unique terrain might have rules which suit your orcs. You know, maybe it's an assault ramp. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but maybe there's some kind of rule that says if you're stood on this terrain and you charge off this terrain feature, you get a charge bonus. Absolutely. An orc player, a Tyranid player, they're going to be all over that. And then you get the Astra Militarum box, and it's going to have a Militarium Bastion. And this Bastion gives you a bonus. It's better cover than any other cover in the game. And it's like, yes, every single shooting army now wants the Astra Militarum box set. Again, I don't really have any proof that this is how it's going to work. In fairness, it probably won't. It's probably just they're putting terrain in there to jack up the price, just to push their profit margin a little bit higher. But the point is, this is what they did with Shadespire, and it was hugely successful. So why not do it again? And we're looking at this model now where you put this small investment in. You spend your 40 quid, you get an army, a complete army, you build and paint the complete army. And absolutely, Kill Team will let you buy more parts. It will let you just buy a Space Marine Tactical Squad or a Tempesta Scion box and build them that way. Absolutely. You know, Games Workshop is not going to stop you spending more money. But the push is absolutely to buy this pre-made complete package. And you're done. You're done with that army. You don't need to buy anything else. Except, of course, you've got that lovely progression system. So, as you progress, maybe you will buy another box so you can model your veteran version. Which is what I did with my Skaven team. I bought a second box so that I could have mutated Skaven. So I could have the 3-armed player. So I could have the guy with extra armor plates, with another head, with whatever, with mutations to mark out my progression. Kill Team will do the same, one way or the other. Forge World, who has basically now turned around and all but said, we are not producing Horus Heresy anymore. We're not producing 40k anymore. We're here to produce Blood Bowl and Necromunda. I mean, if you don't believe me, hello, last chance to buy. Look, Age of Sigmar is now leaving. It's all basically fucking off in favour of Specialist Games. Because this new model is so much better for Games Workshop. And I honestly can't blame them. I really can't. Now, I'm not suggesting that Games Workshop is actively now shit-canning 40k, that we're not going to see any kind of support for the game and it's just going to disappear and it's going to be Age of Sigmar and Kill Team as their flagship franchises. But what I will point out is that given how much fuss they made over 8th edition, they really haven't been releasing a lot of 8th edition content. I mean, they released effectively a brand new army right out of the gate. The Primaris Space Marines. Where the fuck are the Primaris? We have one kit for each of the stuff in the Codex. Great. And that's it. That's all we've heard from them. And a lot of the armies didn't get a similar remake. I mean, Age of Sigmar has been pumping out new factions left, right, and centre. You know, you have Space Marines right out the gate. There was a new Khorne faction, and then they've had the Slayer Dwarfs, the new dwarfs with their dragon friends, and the steampunk sky dwarfs, and the new what are they called? Aurochs, the new type of orc, and there's the new Nurgle, and there's, you know, what the hell are they? The kind of the weird serpentine Naga creatures, the Brides of Cain or whatever, and of course the Sea Elves, the Adoneth Deepkin, Age of Sigmar is getting new factions left, right and centre. And I'm well aware that a lot of these are basically just designed to replace the old fantasy ranges, the stereotypical hard to trademark fantasy ranges. But the point is they're getting them. Where is 40k getting this kind of support? Where are the new armies? Where are the new Astra Militarum range that is, not going to be easily replaced by third parties? Where are the new Chaos Marines? Where are the new Adeptus Mechanicus? Although I suppose they are kind of safe. Where are the new armies? They're not here. And I don't think they're coming. I really don't. Because why should they? 40k is built on a model that is old now. It's obsolete. The future is this modular, compartmentalized game system. The future is Kill Team. And while Games Workshop is not going to stop people buying their existing ranges, and it's not going to just drop the game right now, I think we're witnessing the beginning of the end. I think Horus Heresy will be the first to go. Games Workshop will just have Forge World drop support for it altogether. It'll go, and then we'll just start seeing less and less being released for 40k. We'll start seeing it branded as suitable for Kill Team rather than 40k. By the Primaris Reavers, a great way to expand your Kill Team. We'll see a notification. Oh, by the way, in Kill Team magazine number 4, there are rules for creating an aggressor Kill Team. We'll see Games Workshop try and move content into Kill Team, and just slowly, quietly, the releases will dwindle. Less and less and less, until eventually, for all intents and purposes, 40k is a dead system. Well, I think you've listened to me ramble with my conspiracy theories for quite long enough, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening, those of you who could put up with me. And who knows, maybe I'll be proven wrong. We can but hope. But until next time, this is TheStabbyBrit, signing out.